with great interest. So good afternoon to the great man, Brian Goorjian, and here we go.
Getting to the final took months and months of hard work by the players and by the coaching staff. Pre-COVID, I was very excited by what we were going to bring together. We had a bit of a disrupted pre-season. We had a lot of player movement. We had players like Lockie Hutchinson move into the NBL 1 in Victoria. We lost a couple of players to Youth League as well. So it gave us an opportunity to bring in some new players and give some players some opportunities.
I was pretty nervous about the season. It was my first ABA season, so I don't know, nerves were kicking about. I wasn't sure if I actually wanted to play. I'm glad I did though.
Before the season, I really didn't have a lot of intentions in really playing ABA basketball before COVID. I was really just looking to just target Youth League this year and just really play with guys my age.
It was my first time playing in ABA League and getting to know some of the guys. I knew some before, but not everyone.
I was a bit worried about where I'd be at during the season and how I would go coming off playing a couple minutes last year.
We brought some quality players to the club, players like Nick Feng and Jaden Gibbertson.
It seemed like the group of guys that we had we were going to have fun.
I thought we had a good young group that had a lot of room to grow together.
And Jake Wilson coming back into the squad as well was a tremendous bonus to have those players come in.
I was excited. I obviously last year played State League, and then once again I sort of had hung up the boots in ABA, and then again out of necessity State League didn't eventuate, so it was ABA or nothing. So I did a pre-season and felt pretty good, and the old body held up okay, so I was excited to come and have a run back in ABA. So yeah, I was really hopeful and looking forward to it this year.
Overall, I was very happy with what we brought together during the pre-season. However, our pre-season was short, and with our imports joining us a bit late, it probably hurt our chemistry a little bit early on there, and our pre-season probably suffered a little bit because of that. The main thing that excited me about the season was the playing group, and I think that's why we coach. As I mentioned before, the opportunity to coach our young players and give them an opportunity at the elite level inside New South Wales was the most exciting thing for me. But I think when I look back at all of the exciting things that happened across the season, the most exciting thing was seeing the players grow. Not just as basketballers, but as people and as individuals who turned into role models here up at Sutherland. So that's the thing that most excited me.
Well, first year ABA was very exciting. Playing with a lot of younger people, because last year State League it's all older, but now it's more people my age. The game was faster as well, so I had to adapt, and it was fun being pushed a lot more as well.
I think having lots of our young guys back, lots of the young Sallow kids and mainly local juniors, and yeah, I think guys that I'd played with earlier on when I first joined Sallow, I think that was really exciting. We didn't go out and headhunt superstars, we had a lot of young homegrown talent, so that was really exciting.
We had a good group of guys come in, just ready to win.
Playing with new people, playing with guys that I knew that are more confident in playing, have a more winning culture. It's pretty fun.
Hanging out with the boys, I think that's the best part about playing this game and being on this team, is hanging out with the guys, hanging out with Maz, hanging out with Coach, sometimes hanging out with Jake. So yeah, that was probably what excited me the most.
I think being on a team again and being in a competitive environment.
Canberra trip was pretty exciting. It was with a bunch of good people, and we had a lot of good guard talent as well. So, you know, I felt like that the team was going to be able to get up and down and score a lot of points.
My biggest worry was probably our pre-season and our lack of time together to bring a squad together. When you enter a season, you always look at the unknowns, and sometimes you can't predict what's going to happen, so you can't get too worried about it. And probably our overall squad balance was the more worrying aspects. of where we were at.
We had no bigs at all.
Playing for new people. New coach.
Losing some key players and key personalities in the team. For the last couple of years, we've had a lot of changes, and there was a fair few people that were leaving, people that had been around for quite a while, some people that hadn't been around for a while. Plus, there's a few people coming back that hadn't been around for a while. Like, yeah.
With the young group comes, we were inexperienced. It could have been a long season.
How long it would take to adjust to the season and adjust to a new team again as well. Like, I was quite anxious versing people that had like more reputations than I'm used to, I guess, but it was still exciting in that aspect too.
Well, that game against Comets was probably a big reality check for myself and the playing group.
Terrible. We got spanked.
But I was in the stands watching the game. I definitely thought as a spectator that wasn't like Sutherland, like what Sutherland was always about. We weren't about, like, we never got blown out by that much. We didn't really compete in a way like Sutherland does.
Like, we got spanked. To be honest, like, there's no hiding that. We got absolutely outplayed.
It was rough. I haven't had a hit like that in a while. Last few seasons have been either very close losses or a lot of wins, and then the first game stepping up to a new level of comp and just getting smacked like that when I think that we had a better team on paper as well. It was a bit rough, but then I think it helped with the mentality later on, and you kind of had that in back in your mind. You didn't want that to happen again. We
had our import, I think, actually only cleared to play a week prior to that, and we still had one import sitting on the sideline. We had a lot of new guys, a lot of young guys still finding out their role inside the team. The coaching staff still trying to figure out roles for players.
Probably disappointed because we'd had a good pre-season and we had a good game plan, and I think as a coaching staff they did a really good job, and we really did an awful job of executing that game plan. So more of a missed opportunity and some disappointment around that element of it, I think.
And I remember going into that game going, we're a chance of winning, but you just don't know what we were gonna produce. And I remember our first half was hard. We played a really good team in Comets. They were exceptionally well drilled. They had a lot of quality players across their team, a lot of experience, and overall I think we were probably down about 25 or 30 points at half time, and I remember going into the locker room and talking to the guys, and that was probably the first time I witnessed just how mature our guys were. They weren't panicking. They were upset about the way that they were playing, but they weren't panicking, which was a tremendous mental strength to have that.
Just remember the big New Zealand guy just coming in at halftime, and then, or like after a bit, and then just getting an easy 20, 30 points in the blowout.
And we came out in that second half and we played a really good brand of basketball. Probably the brand of basketball that we wanted to play right from the beginning. And I think, we only lost that second half by, a couple of buckets. I remember Brendan coming off the bench in that second half and draining 3 threes. And
first time I hit the floor, it was kind of the first game of the year being in ABA in Waratah 1, so the nerves were pretty high, but once I got out there I made a couple shots, so I was pretty happy with myself. It kind of gave me a lot of confidence going forward.
Just to see the guy get that confidence about him, being able to play at that level, finding his feet, was just tremendous.
We had Jordan playing, which was a big difference, and his style is a lot different than what we have normally in Australia. Very attacking the rim hard.
I remember Jordan really got it going towards the end of the game, so he started to really attack and be aggressive and play with confidence, and that was fun.
While it wasn't the result that we wanted, I think we still ended up losing by about 30 points. There were a lot of things inside that match that we took away, which we were quite excited about.
I feel like we did well in the first couple quarters, and we just lost our way a little bit, but I thought a lot of good things came out of it.
We're such a new team. I thought it would be okay moving forward. There's some good things, and I feel like we didn't really play a good game, and if we played better, we had a better shot.
But we showed a lot of heart, so I think that was a little bit of a positive. And also, after the game, Darky didn't come in throwing his clipboard or cussing anyone out, and I think that kind of showed what we were going to be doing all year. Like, we were going to be grinding all season, but we're in it together. So I think that was one thing to note.
It was definitely a hard start. I mean, if you asked me at the start of the season, would I envisage myself losing the first game by 30 points? The answer would be no. But unfortunately, that's what it was, and we took a lot of lessons out of that.
A giant padlock is about to snap shut on Sydney and the rest of the state as we go into an unprecedented lockdown that will transform everyday life for millions of us. Premier Gladys Berejiklian will tonight tell the National Cabinet she's taking the reins, shutting down all non-essential services.
Well, when COVID came in, it wasn't a shock because it had kind of been building up, you know, to that.
I had a lot of different reactions, like, were we going to play again that year? How long was it going to last? I was hoping it would be all over pretty soon so we could get back out and play.
I was pretty shocked at the time. I didn't think it would be this big of a deal, but when everything shut down, it was pretty disappointing, especially since I just got into basketball again. We
were preparing for our second game against Manly. And I said to the squad on the Thursday night at practice, I said, if we don't come back on over the weekend, you know, we'll make sure that we stick together.
It was, I miss this. Like, I need something back. I need to hang with the guys. I need some competition. I need to run around. I was getting itchy feet. And so it was just a countdown on when we could get back together, get back playing.
It's hard to go from training sort of 2-3 times a week with a good bunch of guys to doing nothing. So sort of bored and anxious and keen to get back in and rip in. I felt like we probably lost a fair bit of momentum.
The fact that we were able to talk about it and we were able to use our camaraderie inside our playing group, I think was a big reassurance, you know, for everybody, and that unknown was not so daunting. My feeling when I first found out about that was obviously excitement, and it gave me the opportunity to exercise a few things that we had put together during the COVID break. And one of those things was we reached out to a few players like Lockie Hutchinson to see if he'd be interested in coming back to the club.
Well, I was in a funny situation because I was meant to be signed down in Melbourne. So I wasn't actually meant to be playing here, and then obviously with COVID hit, I got the opportunity to play for Sutherland, and so I was feeling real happy coming back and playing, and where the team was at, I was in a real good place.
We'd also put in some conversations with Bailey as well.
When COVID hit, I guess I was still in America, but yeah, it was all a bit frightening when I was over there, and I had to get home when in March when the borders were all shutting. It was a bit, didn't know what was going to happen. I was going to stay there, but then it was getting a bit serious, so I decided to come home, and I'm glad I did, because you know the position Australia's in is way better than America. So
as we kind of got a bit closer towards the season starting, we were able to land Liam Thomas, a former Sutherland junior who'd been playing the NBL 1, but obviously due to their season shutdown, he was also looking for a club to play at too.
Well, I felt like I was going to be in Albury to begin with the season. I was in Albury for 2 weeks, and then COVID kind of turned the world upside down, and I came back to Sydney and came down to practice. That's how it began.
So we were exceptionally lucky to land Liam, and he's been a tremendous asset to our club. And I remember our development officer here, Pat, texting me, and he said, "I've got this guy. He's super athletic. I think he'd be a fantastic fit for your group." And I said, "Look, how big is he?" And he said, "Look, he's about 6'9". And I said, "We'll take him."
So I played for Norths in 2017, and then I went to the Philippines to play overseas for a bit. And then I came back in 2020, obviously, because of the coronavirus. And I decided, I need to play basketball somewhere to keep fit. And someone I know, Pat, he works here, and he's like, "Oh, well, do you want to play here? Put a good word in for you." And I was like, "Yep, I'd love to." So that's why I played for Sutherland.
So that was Brandon. And then we rounded out our recruitment with Cal.
It was an easy decision for me, really. I've played Sutherland all my juniors, so wouldn't go anywhere else, really. And all the guys I knew from the team anyway, so I stayed at home, really.
We had what we had prior to COVID, but then we also added a lot of firepower, a lot of experience, and a lot of energy as well. So my excitement was starting to build, and I think it only intensified when I saw the group start to come in for fitness training.
I was so excited. I was so excited because I knew I could play basketball. I knew that I could come to Sutherland and play under a great head coach with a great system, with a great bunch of guys, and I was so excited that basketball was back pretty much.
Ecstatic. I was really happy. I was really looking forward to this season. After coming out of a strong pre-season, I thought I was playing at a pretty high level, and so I was just excited to get back out there and put it on the floor.
Yeah, it was exciting because I was keen to play, and I'd mentally prepped at the start of the year to play a season and be in an ABA squad and play in the Waratah League at the high level, and I was really excited to that aspect of being part of the team. And then I was like, oh well, it all went out the window when COVID hit, but then hearing it come back, I was like, yes, heaps keen, start doing preseason stuff, get fit again, start touching the ball more, get more shots up, bond more. There was new players added to the team, so it was really exciting, the whole preseason and build up.
To see them all there together, you could kind of get a sense that we were going to be a very different team. I wanted the guys, to come back and play. We didn't want to leave our one and only game at the Comets game. We wanted to, ensure that we left on our own terms, and it was great that we could play some basketball. Getting used to everybody was probably one of the biggest challenges, pre and post-COVID. In both scenarios, we had a lot of new players with tremendous skill sets. And the hardest thing as a coach is to try and mould all of that into one playing group, all moving in one direction with common goals. As I've gone through the season getting to know these guys, I think it's probably one of the groups in my coaching career that have shown the most maturity. Just the way that they interacted with each other, the way that they held each other accountable but kept everything light and easy and fun. We knew it was a relatively short season, so we knew we didn't have a lot of time. And I felt like the players really bought into that. They bought into getting to know each other and getting to know each other's games.
It was a good bunch of guys this year. We had no big personalities and no ego, so it was a really good year. Everyone gelled, and the pieces that I think we brought in were really good guys, and there was no cultural adjustment. Everyone that came in did their role and did what they had to do, so it was actually a really easy adjustment this year.
It was easy, whenever you play with Southo, there's always a good culture and a good vibe, so that wasn't an issue at all. The new group was great. Like, everyone got along really well. I think that was one of the best teams I've been a part of this year off the court. Other years, like, you have little cliques and stuff like that, like, you know, groups here, groups there. This group everyone was in it together. Like, there was multiple times after training or after a scrimmage on a Saturday before the season restarted, or like we'd all be back up at the pub and everyone would be hanging out together and everyone was about it.
It was pretty easy. You know, I've played with LT before, played a little bit with Bailey, and then the rest of them were pretty much old teammates. But, you know, they're all great. I love them all. They're brothers to me and lifelong friends, yeah.
Easy. Really good bunch of people, funny, always had a good time. You know, there was really no idiots on the team, so really easy, really enjoyed it, had zero issues.
Those new people came in, made it really easy to get along with, so it was more on us to accept them, yeah.
It was actually a really easy transition. The guys here are amazing, honestly. Bunch of easy, fun guys to hang around with, so it was really easy, honestly, yeah.
I really enjoyed just being around him, trainings and stuff. I loved it.
It was fun getting to know new people, and everyone was super nice too, and I feel like we all hit it off really well and kind of bonded, so it was nice.
We drew the Inner West Bulls and I don't think there could be a harder game to draw in round one after coming back from a lockdown. With minimal preparation, with players that hadn't spent an awful lot of time together. We'd had one pre-season hit-out game and I think about 7 or 8 training sessions on the court together. So there was no doubt that we were going to be a bit underdone.
Yeah, all the hype around them. Everyone was saying we were going to get smashed. So it was an interesting lead up. We were doubting ourselves, I think, as well.
It was mainly just excitement, and especially because I knew we were versing Inner West first. So they were, before the season began, they were meant to be like top 4, you know, because they had Craig Moller and Daniel Kickett. But yeah, just excitement.
You know, I was playing against 2 former Kings, or 2 Kings in Craig Moller and Dan Kickett. You know, very good friends with those 2, and I was excited, I was nervous. I just wanted to get the season out, you know, to a good start. And
so I was really excited, especially coming up against 2 NBL guys like Moller and Kickett, which was pretty cool to be out on the same floor as them.
I haven't played a game of basketball for months, so I was very nervous. Not just that though, like the first game back was a big game against Ride, and you know, they had a lot of big names. You know, we had some new faces coming back into it that hadn't really trained with us very much leading into the restart. So
I guess intimidating, because all the teams, there's rumors of all the teams getting a lot more, I guess, NBL talent or NBL level talent. So I was intrigued to see what was the talent level going to be like.
I just came off about 3 weeks on the sidelines because of my feet. I had some issues with them, so I was extremely unfit for the first game. I remember being very tired, and yeah, I was just trying to do my best for the team.
You know, you take care of everything you can, you prepare. I thought we prepared well, but that's a good team. So excited. Didn't know how we were going to go.
I thought we had a really good vibe in our group that we could go and do some things, and we had one of the most hyped up teams through COVID break going in with all the guys they've signed. So it was going to be a great test, but then I knew we were kind of ready to play.
That first game was just amazing. I don't think I've ever been that nervous as a coach.
That was probably the best game I've seen, like a young Southo kid play.
That was a tough one because we thought we were better than what we were.
That was always tough. It was a tough week, knowing that Bales wasn't going to be there.
We came in with a bit of a, you know, guys know everyone from North and everyone knows everyone from Southo. It was a bit of a rivalry.
Unfortunately, we didn't play great.
I don't want to talk about that Manly game, honestly.
We always knew we had talent. We'd shown it in patches, but we'd never shown it for a long period of time throughout a game. And that was the game that we showed that.